We've got the non-farm payrolls report in a few hours, and usually Asia is a very quiet session on these days, but not today. We had a bit of a sell-off on tech led from the Kospi, and that was down, I think it was a high to low range of about 9% at the worst part of the day. So that had an impact on Nikkei as well, and even Wall Street futures saw a pullback. So Nasdaq, S&P 500 was lower as well. So a bit of a strange Asia session as far as Fridays are concerned. But the point really is looking at the Nasdaq. So when you look at the Nasdaq rally, it has been pretty damn good overall. But even today it got dragged down due to movements in Asia. I guess the 2 points I want to make here are that it's probably due a correction at some point, and I'll show you futures positioning to make that case for the longer term. However, in the near term, going into NFP, there's some pretty good support levels around 30,000. So I've got a feeling that this is going to try and put in a swing low. I don't really have a bias here for whether it will just simply take out these highs or not. But over the near term, as we get into next week, I just feel that we're going to get a bit of a bounce. Part of the reason there is that when you look back at this correction, which is the only real one we've seen up until this point from that rally, which started back at late March, it was a 3-day retracement and then back to record highs. Now, the day hasn't closed, but this would be the third day. We've got NFP, so I think we could probably get some two-way volatility. We might get a bit of a movement down, but I think as we're heading towards the close of the Friday, maybe we are close to that swing low, so maybe next week we'll get a bit of a bounce, if not later today, if the NFP numbers are pretty good. When I look at the 1 hour chart, what kind of catches my eye as well is that you've got this pretty strong movement down, and you've got a bit of a retracement back up to the monthly pivot point and weekly S1. So because NFP allow for some noise, but I can't help but feel we've got another stab lower. But there are some really good levels around 30,000, being a nice round number. I've got a high volume node from that entire rally, or the recent one, and with the weekly S2 as well. So I just feel we'll get another little stab lower, and maybe we'll get a movement up as we head into next week. Now, going back to futures positioning, why I think we need to keep an eye on a potential bigger correction in the coming probably weeks, if not days. Look here on the left, you've got large speculators, and on the right hand, you've got asset managers, and they're pretty similar in some ways, different than others. Look at how short bets are rising against here. So pretty much all through this rally, you've got a very strong rise there from the short crowd. And in fact, traders flipped to net short exposure. It was actually 3 weeks ago. So they've been net short 4 out of the last 5 weeks while these prices are rising. So it's not a sell signal within itself, but considering we've had this very strong movement up and you've got fresh shorts coming in, it's something to consider. The other one as well is asset managers. Now, asset managers I generally find are a bit more useful for indices than large speculators. But what I do like is how the gross longs have reached a natural peak there, and they're pulling lower. Net long exposure as well is pulled down from highs, recent highs there from the February 2024 high. This is not calling for a significant reversal. It's just saying that we've had a pretty good rally. Positioning might be a little bit stretched and shorts are picking up. So over the coming weeks, maybe there is a case for sideways moves or a bit of a pullback. But let's not lose sight of the fact that going into the weekend, possibly next week, 30,000 looks pretty good. Over the near term, I think dip towards it could look quite appealing. As always, hope that's useful. Wish you best of luck with your trading.